Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Planet Keebler. I'm so glad you're here today. This is the channel where we're changing the world one video at a time. This is your place for positivity, spirituality, financial discipline, and health and wellness. These are some of the things that help us grow and thrive. In today's video, we'll be talking about confronting hidden trauma. So get comfortable, open your mind, and let's explore this topic together. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you vibe with the content. Now let's get into it. Trauma is often buried deep within our subconscious. When we go through a traumatic event and survive, we try to leave that pain or event behind us so we can move forward. We conceal that trauma beneath layers of fear. We hide that trauma beneath layers of shame. We lock away that trauma beneath layers of self-preservation. Society encourages us to move forward, but true healing does not come from avoidance. True healing comes from unearthing these hidden wounds. True healing comes from embracing our vulnerabilities. By confronting our past and shifting our perspective, we transform our pain into empowerment. Hidden trauma can be misunderstood if we don't define it. Everyone is unique to how they handle a traumatic event. Hidden trauma refers to painful experiences. Hidden trauma is not always visible. This trauma can shape our thoughts. This trauma can shape our emotions. And this trauma can shape our behaviors. It may stem from neglect as a child. It may stem from emotional abuse. It may stem from betrayal. Or it may stem from a significant loss. In the last 10 years, I lost a lot of family members. So I can relate with the trauma that comes from losing someone significant. These unresolved wounds can manifest as anxiety. They can manifest as depression. They can manifest as self-doubt. Or they can manifest as destructive patterns. When this happens, we often don't realize the root cause of these destructive patterns or behavior. In moments of deep reflection, we come face to face with the emotional triggers that shape our inner world. We need to recognize and accept these triggers. These signals are subtle. These signals are powerful. These emotional triggers guide us to the essence of who we are. They unlock the path to healing past traumas stored within our bodies. Identifying these triggers is like uncovering the hidden origins of our struggles. As we look inward and acknowledge our emotions without self-criticism, as we look deep inside and acknowledge these emotions without judgment, we gradually untangle the emotional knots that have kept us bound. This allows our mind and body to release their burdens. This allows our mind and body to move toward healing. Our culture glorifies strength and resilience. Vulnerability is often mistaken for weakness. However, there is power in vulnerability. Vulnerability is the gateway to true healing. Acknowledging our pain does not diminish our strength. When you acknowledge your pain, you magnify your strength. When we allow ourselves to feel, we begin the journey of self-discovery and liberation. When we embrace our vulnerabilities, we redefine our story. Our story is not one of suffering. Our story is one of strength. We change our personal narrative. We shift the narrative from one of pain to one of empowerment. This courageous act helps us move beyond fear. This courageous act helps us reconnect with our true selves. Through intentional practices like meditation, journaling, or therapy, we create a safe space to process our emotions. In this safe space, We reclaim our personal narrative. We rewrite our story. Our story is now full of awareness. This new story can now light up the paths that were once covered in darkness. Instead of viewing trauma as a permanent scar, we can choose to see it as a catalyst for growth. Every hardship carries a lesson. Every wound is an opportunity for wisdom. When we shift from a victim mentality to an empowered perspective, we reclaim control over our story. Recognizing and addressing our emotional triggers can heal the wounds of the past. We can navigate future challenges with resilience if we understand our emotional triggers. Through gentle self-exploration, we release old pain. We release old memories. We restore balance to both body and spirit. As the weight of the past experiences are lifted, we step into a newfound sense of freedom. Our spirit is no longer weighed down. Our spirit is now free. We can now embrace life with confidence and love. We now have a renewed sense of wholeness. The Bible speaks extensively about healing, redemption, and finding strength in God. Let's examine a few key scriptures that offer guidance and encouragement. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." This verse reassures us that God does not abandon those who suffer. Instead, He draws near to those in pain, offering comfort and restoration. Reflecting on this, we see that acknowledging our trauma does not isolate us. It invites divine presence into our healing process. Isaiah 61 verse 3 says, "To bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair." Here, God promises transformation. The ashes were once a symbol of suffering. Now they are exchanged for a symbol of beauty. This passage teaches us that by facing our pain with faith, we allow God to turn our mourning into joy. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." This verse shifts the perception of weakness, emphasizing that in our most vulnerable moments, we are not alone. God's grace strengthens us, proving that our pain does not define us, our faith does. Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 17 says, "But I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord." This is a promise of restoration. No matter how deep our wounds, healing is always possible with God's love and guidance. Unearthing trauma is not an easy journey. It is a necessary one. Through faith, self-awareness, and courage, we can transform our pain into wisdom. Instead of suppressing our past, we can integrate it into our growth. Just as the Bible reassures us that God restores and renews, we too can rise from our suffering. We can become stronger and wiser. Healing begins when we stop running from our wounds. Healing begins when we start facing them with grace and resilience. By embracing our vulnerabilities, we shift the narrative from pain to empowerment. Remember, our past does not define us. We are defined by how we rise from our past. With faith, self-reflection, and courage, we can uncover the strength hidden within our scars. And once we find this strength, we can step into a future filled with hope and renewal. Thanks for joining me today. Peace and God bless you all.